Black people all over the world are suffering and dying too soon from illnesses that have plagued our communities for centuries. At Indigenous Health, we are on a mission to build the most valuable and genetically diverse data bank on the planet. Although people with African ancestry make up more than 20% of the global population, our genetic data is less than 3% of the data used in drug discovery. We are frustrated by the status quo and are determined to make a difference by becoming the change we want to see. We know you have lots of questions, and we're excited to answer those questions. You will also receive a free personalized health assessment. Join our community today at biusforall.com. Hello and welcome to our Founders Live. I'm excited to talk with you all about what's going on with Indigenous Health and share some news on our app. Just gonna get our full team in, and we will start the conversation. Hello, founders. How are you all?
Oh, hello.
Doing great.
Yeah, you doing?
Oh, wonderful. All right, we got Dr. Wilson in there. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna get started here. Excited. Happy New Year, first of all. How was the holiday? Good.
Great.
Good and busy. Good and busy.
Good and busy. I hear that. Same here. So excited to start off a new year with the team, 2022, and get started on our audacious company goals. So I am going to pass the ball to Michael Akinyele, our president, to talk a little bit about company updates. Michael?
Sure thing. So the biggest update I'd say is, our app is been live now since Christmas Eve. We've had a lot of uptake, and so that's been exciting. I think some of the additional exciting pieces of it is that over the next couple of weeks here, we're going to be rolling out more surveys for folks to take on the platform. In addition, we have something special in store. So we call it an upgrade that's coming in Black History Month. So happy to put that out there now, and we'll be sharing more of what those upgrades and updates to our software will be over the next several weeks with planned launch for Black History Month. For everyone who's downloaded any of our information or who's kind of gone through the app, we'd love to hear from you. So, pass us any comments. We're very much in iterative building mode. And so we've already taken some feedback from our focus group, and we're implementing that as part of our updates to what's coming out in February. So we're excited to take that feedback from the community, implement it into the software, and just keep building. Because ultimately, all of what we're doing is to help improve the health outcomes and quality of life of people who have been underserved and ignored for far too long. And so excited to continue to build. And that's really the central focus of a lot of our updates kind of at this point is really just our technology. Outside of that, I'll tell you that we have other updates coming up, which we'll save it for when the press releases come out, but it's definitely going to be a busy January for sure.
That's great. Thank you. Just quickly, before we jump into today's topic, I wanted to just quickly talk about our Kwanzaa series because I thought that it was exciting. I had never formally celebrated Kwanzaa or followed every day. And so this was the first year and I was really excited to see how much connection there was between our work and our mission and these, the core principles of Kwanzaa. I didn't put all of them up there, but they are available on our LinkedIn page, on our Facebook page, also on Twitter, and we're exploring other platforms, but our Instagram page. So please follow us on that, on all of those platforms, and please share your thoughts. You can always go back and look at some of the Kwanzaa work that we did. The last thing I wanted to jump into before before we talked about the app and before we talked about resolutions, because that's our topic. So please, if you have any thoughts or comments, or you want to share some of your resolutions, please start to share those in the comments because we're going to talk about them. But quickly, Black History Month is fast approaching. We know it's a short month, so we have to be intentional about planning for it. So we are a part of the Justice for Garvey movement. We have 4 weeks to go, and we're a part of this global campaign to exonerate the Honorable Marcus Garvey. There's a lot that you can learn about it on the justiceforgarvey.org website, but wanted to just make you all aware that this is going on. That Indigenous Health is a company that is supporting the effort. So let's go right into the topic. I see we have some comments. So I'll go. Oh, I see Sherman Gillums is here. Hi, Sherman. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Elias, we got a Happy New Year. From Happy New Year, Dr. Rochester. Thank you. Oh, and look, Sherman said that his family used the graphic to have Facebook discussions. That is wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that. That's wonderful. So let us know if you all have any health resolutions for the year. We're going to get started with that segment of the conversation. So let's just quickly, Dr. Wilson, will you talk to us about the first survey that helps to produce that health assessment, and why folks should be excited to start that documentation process?
Sure. So the surveys that we have available for people to utilize first start off with collecting some basic demographic information, because there are some aspects and some variables that are associated with health outcomes that are related to those demographics. So with regards to that, most research studies that are conducted, and also the major research studies conducted by the Department of Health and Human Services, in terms of the All of Us program, for example, programs like that, they collect this basic demographic information to get some ideas on some information that's kind of represents what's now referred to as the social determinants of health, which are a lot of the things that are unrelated to physical health itself, but have a significant health impact. So the initial survey collects a lot of this data initially.
Great. And Michael, anything you'd like to add to that? Just why does that? Why do we pick this as the first survey that leads to a report that people can get?
I think it's really looking at your family health history and just helping you understand how, because your family might have gone through certain things or might be burdened with certain conditions, you ultimately might be at risk for some of these things. And so over time, we're going to refine our algorithms to better understand, what those risks are. Over time, we're going to have more information come in, right? So things from clinical data sets come in, hopefully eventually genetic data sets come in. And so that robust set of information then allows the individual with the data and the insights provided to really have a better understanding of what they might be at risk for, and ultimately how they can take certain steps to hopefully, get the best health outcomes. Because ultimately a lot of what we see in healthcare today is you kind of go in, for your annual physical, or you kind of go in when something's wrong. And so here's an opportunity to actually arm people with tools and resources to kind of understand what's going on ahead of time, and ultimately use that to improve their own health outcomes. And there's obviously a whole lot more, and lots on our website. And so I didn't want to spend the whole conversation just, sharing those details. But ultimately, it's a way to start to really just, capture information to help you better understand what's going on.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, to piggyback on that just a little bit. Sure, there's health risks that are associated with just being Black or African American. So in terms of that basic demographic information is what's collected, some information on that, as well as information on conditions or that you may have been diagnosed with as an individual. And then, in addition to that, as Michael mentioned, information on conditions that have been diagnosed within your family members. And based on that information that you provide in terms of things that you've been diagnosed with, there's additional information on other things that you could be at risk for, as well as information about things that you're at risk for based on other family members being at risk. So this is the first step in increasing awareness about this, right? So we can get people thinking about it, right? In terms of, this is the time of New Year's resolutions and things like that, but
Yes.
we really want people to, really make a conscious effort to really think about their health and how to maximize it, because health is the true wealth, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I was looking at the survey. So I downloaded the app, and you have to download it on your mobile device. So you go to webapp.buyusforall.com, and you can download the app right there. And then you can start to fill out the surveys. How long does the family health history survey take?
I think that depends on how much of your family health history you know,
Right.
and
Right.
that's really what drives it. But it could be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes or longer. It just depends
Yeah.
on how much that the individual is aware of and is able to actually document. And you can always go back. So
Right.
any of these things are, you're able to update them over time, and
Hmm.
that's really the way to think about this. It's an iterative process where you may know some things today and you put it in.
Hmm.
A couple months down the road, you find out something else. You go back and you update it, and
Yeah.
that's just going to help improve the quality of the health risk assessment that's provided.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. And we got a comment from Sherman saying it's great for easing into tough conversations by allowing users to be honest about the risks with themselves and developing good questions to take to their providers. Absolutely. I tend to I frequent the emergency room with some of my illnesses, and it's just the last time I was there, I had to pull up some of the tests that I had done previously with my doctor, with another doctor on my phone to show the doctors. And I just thought in that moment, man, there has got to be an easier way. There's got to be something that's more integrated, and gives people something useful to take to their providers where they can start planning for their wellness. So resolutions, let's talk about them just very quickly. Do you all do resolutions? Yusuf, do you do resolutions? Dr. Wilson, do you do resolutions? It's just me.
I have the same resolution every year.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
not. It's an ongoing thing, right? It's try to be healthy, eat right,
Yes.
lose weight, and
Uh-huh.
constant struggle. But
Yeah.
kind of working on it, working through it,
Listen,
and
we
being honest, right?
understand. We understand. I'm trying to pick up a little. I'm starting to look like a bobblehead. Dr. Wilson, do you do any of them? Do you do resolutions at all?
Not traditionally, but I do try to, improve, find a new way to improve my health every
Uh-huh.
year.
Okay.
Something new I can do, something else I can adjust. Just that will most likely benefit me in the long run. I mean, I'm trying to, maximize the quality of life of the years I have ahead of me,
I know that's right. Yeah.
which are probably fewer than the years that are behind me at this point. But
Oh,
Huh?
mercy.
Don't say that.
Michael said no. No.
Yeah, I'm more of a data driven guy, so I try to make my results. So every birthday of the year, I normally run my full blood work and try to make sure I
Oh,
stay within norms. So, that's one of the reasons why, the idea around indigenous was to build like what Brad and Michael was saying. You building on the data, right?
uh-huh.
I think that's something that we haven't really touched on why this is so important to build on, because you'll start. Knowledge is power. So what you don't know this year, you'll know next year, and you'll get more tests done to analyze certain areas. So for me, Given my military background, a lot of injuries, I have to watch a lot of the medications that I take.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big burden on my end, and a lot of veteran folks could attest to this. Where for years we've been on certain pain medications, and as you know, the effects of some of those are very difficult, especially on
Mm-hmm.
your gastroenterology.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an area that I normally focus on. Of course, weight wise, as you can't keep carrying this 220-pound body around as the bones start to get a little bit more shaky as you get older. So health and lifestyle tends to be the next area. So I think these are all improvement areas where you don't have to make them resolutions. I think way we can start looking at this is like building that portfolio as you start to learn more and gain better understanding of some of the health disparity areas, the health risks that you're associated with. Over time, you'll create that leisure that'll kind of help guide you into your older days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So, if folks do, we want to hear what your health resolutions are. If you care to share in the chat, so feel free to share those and to ask questions. But we talked a little bit about some of the resolutions folks may have, and I think losing weight, eating healthier, are in those areas. So, how does our application help people with their particular resolutions? I think the first one should be to learn more about your health. Like Yusuf said, get to the data, right? And the app is a place that you can begin to input and store some of that data. But even beyond that, just anybody, any other founder, please jump in. What do you think the app can do to help support folks' health resolutions in the new year?
I can go.
Right.
At the end of the
Please.
day, it gives you as much as you put in, right?
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, if you're seeking to better understand what you're at risk for,
Hmm.
that's really where the conversation starts with the app. And with that, you get information, and this is going to be part of some of the updates that are going to come out later. But
Hmm.
you not only get information that educates you on those risks, but it also shares diet information. So, like
Yes.
guidance on, if you're at risk for X, here's some of the things you can look at from a diet standpoint. And then if you're at risk for X, here's some of the known sort of treatment guidelines.
Hmm.
Everything's evidence based, and all of it is still just first version of
Hmm.
what we're sharing. And the whole goal and the whole purpose of the platform being designed for the underserved and folks who have been historically ignored is that over time, that information that's being shared about
Hmm.
risks, diet, and treatment is going to be personalized and culturally relevant and culturally sensitive. Because,
Yes.
like everything else in the world, it's not designed with everyone in the world in mind. And
Hmm.
so our goal is to make sure that, and it starts with how you get onboarded into the app, right? You select the region you're in, you select your language, and all of that starting to prepare you for a more personalized experience to
Yeah.
get closer to a better understanding of what your health risks are, because once you understand the risks, then you can start taking action. Right? I was
Yes.
just I was just out there because call it Mother Nature decided to dump about 10 inches of snow. Here I was thinking, oh, global warming, thank you. We got about 70 degrees yesterday, and we got 10 inches today. So I'm
Right.
working muscles I haven't worked out in a while. And it's like I'm getting too old for this. But then I remembered some things about risks that come when you're like doing that kind of strenuous activity. I've actually lost neighbors in the past that kind of overexerted themselves, kind of going through that process. So, I was aware of the risk and I was educated enough not to, overexert myself and, took breaks.
Yeah.
Obviously, still have a bunch left to do. So my work is not done.
To do. Yusuf and Brad and I will head over right after this.
Oh no.
Come on. He's like,
I've,
That's a
I've,
great example. I'll tell you another one. I found out through my doctor's office that I'm at risk for something called macular degeneration. So, how I connected that to my nutrition was I started drinking carrot juice because carrot juice is really high in vitamin A. And I'm thinking, okay, if I know that my eyes are huge but not as functional as I would like them to be, right? It's like that vitamin is good for your eyes. So is that crazy, Dr. Wilson, for me to start doing that? Or does that I thought that was a good example for how it makes sense to find out where your vulnerabilities are and then try to supplement with your diet, right? Because what you put into your body is so important. Any other examples or thoughts just around this topic?
Yeah, I was just going to say, in terms of where we kind of start is on the front end with, awareness and education, right? To improve health literacy, right? And I think that's like the first step. The first step in moving toward better, your health goals are, understanding, being aware of what your health issues are and learning about them and understanding them. And then, as Michael mentioned, then you can start to take action, right? By making different decisions about things that you eat and the things that you do in terms of your level of activity, things like that. So I think those are a couple of different ways that the app and what we're doing as a company can people can use towards reaching their health goals.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think to echo everything, I think it's just more informed care, right? I think as I think folks here are probably in their early 40s. So we've kind of moved through an era from, pen and paper ledger to having more information at your fingertip through, um, you know, uh, the web. And I think, over my time, I'm seeing the difference between now that my daughters are half my age, right? So I get to look at the spectrum quite differently of how they're looking at their health versus how I looked at my health at their age of 21. So it's been a huge benefit for me just to see how they think about their health.
Mhm.
And in this digital age of where everything now, you know, is more digitized, you can get a lot more information provided to you. You got the Fitbits, you got all these gadgets, right? Tell you
Yeah.
your heart rates, your steps per day. So I think, all of these are things that our app will eventually evolve and encompass, where you
Mm.
just have that universal diary.
Mhm.
I think Michael even mentioned the regions. I mean, you could just imagine the different regions that you could enter from just traveling and looking at some of the, changes there just from a dietary standpoint, right? Some foods that you have here, you're not prevalent to other parts of the country and the globe. But all of those information and touch points are going to be interesting when you're looking at it aggregated, but the main thing is not having that all centrally located. Like you just said, you had to pull up information from another system where you saw a previous doctor, which is also another big thing right now, is having that interoperability of being able to bring your entire disease management and health profile with you when you attend the physician, whether it's here locally in the US or internationally. So those are things that the app will work towards as a goal moving forward.
Yeah.
But I think, it starts with, like Brad says, the health literacy, understanding what are you at risk for. And as you just mentioned, just simple things as knowing that, hey, I've been taking medication that's calcium blockers. So, a lot of things I have to do a lot of, I have to take a lot of supplements because some of the medications I take block some of the nutrients, the calcium that I need for my body. And so, those are things that you start look for in fruits and vegetable. And that's what we're going to start morphing this app into, where, the more information we identify and understand about you as we continue to impute it, we'll be able to provide those daily type of, health literacy to each individual on a personal level.
Hmm.
not on a generalized level, which is pretty much what you get right now. But as we start to understand that cultures are different and certain things are just more prevalent in other diseases and in other ethnic backgrounds.
Yeah. We just got this great comment from Sherman. I put it up so you all could have a little preview, but I want to put it up because I think this is such an important part of the conversation. And Sherman just said, I better appreciate my risk for cancer after the app forced me to consider ways my family members, including my sister, grandma, and grandpa, who all had some form of cancer, place me at higher risk. But I'm empowered to make lifestyle changes before that risk becomes reality. That is, I think that, thank you so much, Sherman. Sherman is also one of our advisors. So we're really happy to have you on the call with us tonight and participating, because that aspect of health disparity versus health equity, or risk, health, understanding your health risks, but in a way, not that it's we're trying to be scary or scare you with all of these risks, but we're really trying to empower you with the understanding so that you can plan for your healthiest life. Any other comments based on Sherman's comments from you all?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. This is
Right.
this is what we're trying to achieve, and that's our goal is to impact each individual the same way. It's not all going to be cancer. In Sherman case, it's cancer.
Hmm.
In my case, my daughters have this rare genetic eye disease, so now that's a focus for me and my family to make sure that again, I have four daughters, so starting to monitor and what that looks like. So when they have kids, so you
Hmm.
can see each individual here on this call could essentially pick a disease area that's prevalent within their family and start to provide and document and look at some of the past history of other members, start to have that conversation, where I think, like I said, it's not really been at the forefront in the minority community to really start looking like where some of these disease areas generated from, and what is the family doing as a together unit
Hmm.
to address it for next generation. Again, so what Sherman just said is really where I'm at. Where again, I was part of the the half of the set of genes that was provided to my daughters that ended up with this genetic mutation and rare disease. So whoever they end up being involved in getting into a relationship with, this will be something that they already have documented, and it's not a crapshoot of trying to figure it out. And
Hmm.
so I think that's how we plan on making this evolutionary as possible, where it's an iterative document that could then transcend across generation.
Yeah.
Sure, and to echo that, I have sickle cell trait, and my son does as well, and it was inherited from my father. So when I found out, I immediately informed all of my siblings, about it, and let them know that they, potentially have trait as well, and the implications that it could have for them when it was time when they wanted to have children. So
Hmm.
something like that, and then also high cholesterol runs on my mom's side. So there's definitely multiple things that it could be from. It could be a multitude of things that you could potentially, get some information on that could potentially serve you well, to make some changes and some adjustments that could put you in the best position to to minimize your risks the best you can, and to maximize your health.
That's great. And just like that, we're at 30 minutes, fellas. I don't know how that happened today. It must have been all the shoveling, Michael. We just shoveled right through this this 30
Yeah,
minutes. But
and people are out there shoveling right now here on the East Coast. So be
yeah,
careful, take breaks, drink water,
please.
stretch. Uh,
Yes, yes, that's great. But I think just to summarize, and if anybody else has any closing statements, please just get them ready, and I'll go to you before we go out. But you know, download the app, right? Start there. Start in downloading the app and filling out that first survey, right? I think it is so important for your health to focus on your data, your specific data, and to bring that data to the conversation with your providers to better personalize your medicine and your health. I'll just quickly go to Michael. Any closing comments?
Nope.
No, good. Dr. Wilson, any closing comments?
No, not for me. Just just for those, I totally agree with Michael's advice. If those who hope to getting started back on working out, water and stretching is going to be important. For
Okay.
the day after, you'll be a lot better if you stretch.
All right.
But yeah, definitely. This is what we're attempting to do to help with this issue, right? To address this issue,
Yes.
and this the beginning.
Yeah, thank you, Brad. Yusuf, any closing comments?
No, thanks for everybody for joining. I probably recommend Michael gets a snowblower, but I will be.
I didn't know the snow was coming. I thought climate change took care of it.
I'm a planner. I'm a planner. So I like to plan ahead. So just in
I
case.
guess I know where I'm coming to get a snow blower tonight.
Listen, I just looked out the window and then I just closed the window. I didn't even, my car is buried. I think we got like 20 inches over here and I can't help it.
Right,
You just
right.
gave up.
Or don't get those long driveways next time. Think like
Condos can work.
Can I get a quick shout out? Just want to give a quick shout out to some of these organizations out here that we're supporting.
Yes.
That are raising awareness about health issues that are impacting African Americans and others, namely PCOS Challenge with our Bison sister Sasha Adi at the helm, Endo Black, the HBCU sister Lauren Cornegay running the show there, the White Dress Project with Miss Tanika Gray Valbrun running that organization, and also the Orly Smith Cancer Research Foundation and Dr. Hadia Nicole Green, who's doing the work there, and her team is doing some excellent work in the area of cancer research and treatment. So just want to shout them out.
Yes, thank you for doing that. And we will end on that note. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again next week. All right. Bye.